suit.
So Smash Twitter was inundated with tweets claiming we just witnessed the greatest set of Melee ever played. If you are around, you know the set, or rather sets, that I'm talking about. Smash Summit 11 Grand Finals, Mango versus Zane.
God, he delayed step there. Oh, the shield drop.
Zane dropping the punish.
That's it. He
Mango winning his first ever Smash Summit.
Now, like any legendary set, there's too many reasons this set was special to boil it down
Such
to
a wild
just
set.
one. It was the offline culmination of the definitive rivalry of our current era and the improbable return of Mango's
So spaghetti,
Fox.
but so good.
Speaking of which, the first time Zane has lost to a Fox in over 2 years since he faced Leffen at Smash and Splash 5, and oh yeah, Mango had to reverse sweep and beat Zane twice on
on FD.
Final Destination just to reset the bracket.
He's cooking.
He's cooking.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
cooking. Just listen to Brandon.
We got a reset.
No matter which way you cut it, there was something special in the air, but there was one other special ingredient that led to the all-out fervor at this finals. Despite being seeded into winner's side of the final bracket, Mango lost in the first round to Plup,
yeah.
meaning he had to enter top 8 from the loser's side and win 7 straight sets to claim his trophy. So if you saw any Panda staff posting Neo tags on Twitter, let's just say Mango grabbed
always
us by the
gonna
throat
lose, though.
and threw us back in time to 2008.
Pound
After
3.
all, if there's anything that calls to mind Mango's historic greatness, it's a stupidly improbable loser's run. Mango gets a buff in loser's side. We all know this. It's just common wisdom.
Too much
Round
momentum.
3, Evo 2013, press start. His loser's runs are as crucial to his legacy as his love of a good brewski. But here's the thing. Mango's won a lot of tournaments in his career. And sure, some of his most legendary runs were from losers. But it's not like the guy has to lose 4 sets out from Grand
Game 5
to win a
last
tournament.
stock.
He's also got Revival of Melee, Evo 2014, the Big House 6, all tournaments he entered Grand Finals from on the winner's side.
We feel the tension of Armada. No, but wait a minute. That's it.
So here's our question. Is Mango actually the greatest losers player of all time? Or do we just think of him that way because he burst onto the scene with arguably the best run ever? And if Mango might not be the greatest losers player of all time, who could possibly be the contender to his throne? Let's dispense with the legend for now. These are the stats behind loser's side Mango.
The best losers players in the world. It's a whole thing.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk some numbers. Our database doesn't go back forever. Most tournaments from Melee's ancient times don't have full brackets on record. Many others only exist
Some of these
as
runs could be
reconstructed
scripted,
from
dude.
paper
Like
bracket
completely
records.
scripted.
Others yet were hosted on obsolete and broken bracket websites. Hello, Evo 2016. The PGStats era dates back to late 2015. Since then, there are 20,976 completed Melee tournaments in our database. Of those, 7,196, that's 34.3%, have been won from the loser side.
A
Limiting
third of all
things to
tournaments?
just tournaments of 200 players or more, we see the players who make it on the winner's side perform a bit better. Of the 299 tournaments of at least 200 entrants in the PGStats era, 75 of them have been won from losers, just under 25%. According to some old data trawling by yours truly,
it's definitely more
through
rare,
Smash Summit 11,
obviously.
Mango has played in 197 tournaments lifetime. He has placed first in 84 of those events, and of those 84, 61 of them have robust enough data to actually know if he won the bracket from winner's side or loser's side. The results? 46 winner's side wins, 15 loser side wins.
Okay.
That's
25%,
26.2% of
quarter.
Mango's wins coming from the loser side. That's almost exactly average. That's not special at all. But it doesn't feel like we're looking at the right data here, does it? This
Yeah.
data isn't just Mango at majors. This
It's
is
more
Mango at
so
any
like
old
his
tournament,
runs.
whether it's a local with no competition, a random regional, a tournament where he sandbagged, a tournament where he was drunk, etc., etc. So maybe we can't control for all of that, but we can at least pick the tournaments where 1, Mango had some legitimate competition, and 2, we can reasonably be sure Mango and
It reminds
same
me of the
competition were
NBA
trying their
channel.
hardest. We can look at majors,
Jimmy
where
High
you know
Roller.
that everyone is a threat, where there's a real cost to going into losers early. Remember, for every round you lose prior to Grand Finals, you have to win 2 extra sets in losers. An early loss very well might mean the difference between playing one
really well
god
made.
or 4. And then there's the players on the cusp, the players who, having the right day, could
Army,
just take
no.
down a Mango. Leffen, Chu, Army, and Amsa, for example, all had winning records against Mango offline
The
in the
Wobblers,
PGStats era.
dude.
And a winning record isn't totally necessary. We've got 26 players in our database with 1 set win on Mango, and that's when he's not a few beers in. Once you're in losers, any of those players could be a threat.
I wonder what my
Here's another
losers data
mitigating
is.
factor.
They just
Mango is
suck
such
in
an
losers.
impressive player that, of course, his losers win rate is going to go down if you include all the smaller tournaments he stomped. After all, the kid has to feed himself somehow. So all of a sudden, that 26.22% is looking a bit more interesting. So what happens to that 26% when we clean up the data? Let's make sure
Clean
we're only
up the
looking
data.
at the tournaments that matter. We're limiting it to tournaments of at least 200 players plus summits. Let's also make sure we have our rules in order. Does it really feel like a loser's run when somebody loses in grands and wins the reset? That's a loser's walk at best, so we won't count those here. In the PGStats era, 10 players have won majors. Let's break down how
I love
they've
these
done it.
pictures.
Has it been through winners, through a reset after losing in grands, or through losers proper? Okay, this graph is making our statistical brains tingle the way some people react to ASMR. Look at Leffen's win rate. If there was ever a set
Leffen
of
has
data
never
that
won
made
from
me want
losers?
to be an armchair psychiatrist, that might be a topic for another time.
Really?
Another video. Let's focus. That's Mango, second to the left, having won a whopping 40% of his tournaments through losers, far above the 25% win rate from losers established before. And that number goes down when you look at majors too. Among these majors won, only about 12% were won through a losers run. Just about nobody does it like Mango. Just about. But look, Mewtwo King sits at number 1, at a whopping 50%. But that doesn't tell the whole story either.
50%?
Quality matters, of course, but so does quantity. And as memorable as Mewtwo King's losers runs at Canada Cup 2017 and CEO Dreamland were, that's the full list for Mewtwo King in the PGStats era. Let's take another crack at this. Here we have the cumulative lengths of losers runs for all players to win a major from 2016 through the present. Mewtwo King with 8 is actually the lowest of the 4. Then comes Armada, with his I'm Not Yelling, Smash and Splash 4, and Smash Summit 2 runs, the latter of which held up as the longest Summit losers run by a winner until the boy himself, Mango, broke it at Smash Summit 11. Mango's 32 sets across his losers runs at DreamHack Austin 2016, Press Start, Royal Flush, the Big House 9, and Smash Summit 11 dwarf the other two. But it looks like there's room for another bar on this graph. What is that?
Yeah, baby.
That is striking.
Y'all forgot.
Beginning with EVO 2016, Hungrybox has won 35 sets across 7 tournament wins through losers.
I used to
in
be
the
so
PGStats
fucking
era,
good at this game.
truly putting the rest of the Melee world to shame. Maybe that shouldn't be that surprising. He was the #1 player for 3 years in a row, after all, but that's also... That shouldn't be that surprising. He was the #1 player...
It would have been 4 too. It would have been 4. I swear to you. Oh, I would have had a. How the fuck did I do this, guys? How did I do this? You know how hard this is to do? How the fuck?
player for 3 years in a row, after all, but
How?
that's also part of what makes this so surprising. Hbox being in losers is an event in itself. Part of this is a matter of opportunity. Hungrybox attended and won far more tournaments than Mango over this period.
Yeah,
so
I attended
it makes sense
so
that
many
he has
events.
collected more losers runs. But there's no denying the power of Clutchbox, which has been a defining aspect of Melee over the past half-decade. In fact, this dataset includes 85 majors, 18 of which were won through losers. Hungrybox is responsible for 7 of those. Mango is only responsible for 5. And yet, the fact remains, an Hbox
the
losers
GTX
run just
clutch, dude.
doesn't feel the same as a Mango losers run. So, why is that? Why is Mango known as the loser's god and Hbox as Clutchbox? Maybe it's because Hbox's wins are just part of a lot of large numbers? No, that's not it. Even though the percentage of losers wins is an illustrative stat, the discrete amount of losers wins is just as important. There, Hbox has Mango beat, and winning a single major through losers
Dude, my
is
low
a
tier
pretty
City 7
monumental
run
feat.
was actually
After all, it
the
only
sickest
took
thing I've
one
ever done,
losers
but no one
run
knows
for
about
us
it.
to get it about Mango. The truth is, just looking at the past 5
Sickening.
years can't answer why we think of Mango so differently, because both of these players' careers start long before that. We have to look beyond the PGStats era, back to the very beginning of their stories. Before Mango was the GOAT, before he was the Buster, he was just a kid. A 16-year-old kid with impossibly
you're gonna
high
see Hungrybox in a
expectations
second.
placed on him. Mango had put the Smash scene on notice by beating Ken and placing 3rd at EVO the year prior to Pound 3, and the West Coast simply would not shut up about the fact that this kid was something special. All eyes on Mango. Of course, if you know Mango, you should know one thing. Expect the unexpected. So Mango proceeded to dumbfound everyone by doing the thing no one thought he would. Losing.
Losing.
Multiple times in pools. You see, the way Pound was set
He
up,
had a
there were
losing
3
streak for a few
rounds
years.
of pools, each leading into the next. Mango was seeded high, so he was expected to pretty much run over his series of matches, but in round 1, he lost to MDVA Luigi Vist. Okay, no big deal. He still qualifies for round 2 pools. And look, there's the TO himself, Plank, a strong player, but surely he's got a whole lot of other stuff on his mind. Mango loses to him too. And then, in his 3rd round pool, he drops a set to New Jersey Captain Falcon Sensei. Although, of course, he still manages to beat Hax Money, Husband, and take revenge on Hugs for knocking him out of EVO. So not only does Mango lose at Pound 3, he loses 3 times before the bracket even starts. An inauspicious start for the player who's supposed to shake down the East Coast for their lunch money. But hey, at least he makes bracket, where he's fixed to play up-and-coming tech monster Silent Wolf round 1. Should be a slobber knocker, right? Well, it is, because they play DK and Link Dittos.
Oh yeah, he lost to Silent Wolf. And Link
I'm not
Dittos,
sure if
dude.
it's possible for a DK Ditto
True
to
story,
not be a
in
slobber
bracket.
knocker. And of course, we know Silent Wolf now
flew
as
all the
an
way.
incredible Donkey Kong Country speedrunner, so Mango never had a chance.
And Link
After
Dittos.
1 round of bracket, Mango was in losers. And of course, that's where our story truly begins.
And life changed forever.
What followed is undoubtedly the most incredible breakout performance the game had ever seen. After starting in Losers Round 1, Mango ran through a gauntlet of the best players the world had to offer. Cactuar, Forward,
Oh, the drawings. This is cool.
Azen,
I love the animations here.
Chudat,
Yeah, he beat all of them in a row.
Court,
And those are real gameplay moments from those sets.
and PC Chris,
PC Chris.
checked off like names on a grocery list. In Grand Finals, the ultimate opponent stood in Mango's way.
Mewtwo King, dude.
Mango would need to win 2 more sets in a row to cement himself as the best player in the world. And this is where Mango let us know.
Court was
no
crazy
matter
good.
what, even when you're ready to write him off, you never, ever sleep on the kid. Even if he sleeps on you. With rest after rest after back air after rest,
The puff
Mango
did it.
eviscerated Mewtwo King and sealed his place in the history books with one of the single
Pound,
most iconic
jab,
moments
reset,
in
up
Melee's
throw.
history.
Rest on the
With
fucking
Mango's
R
victory,
wing.
he had claimed his first ever major, won 10 sets in a row, and delivered the Melee scene a system shock that would change it forever.
Yeah, Cornerio was legal.
Now, at this point, we need to do a little bit of recontextualizing. You know when we said, a Grand Finals reset does not a loser's run make? Well, to be honest, neither does losing in Winners Finals. You only need to win 1 set in Losers after that to make it back to Grands. That's not really what we mean when we talk about losers' runs, right? So let's take a look at the data, again, but limit only to runs that start in Winner Semis or earlier. What we can see now is that even though Hbox is still up there, Mango slightly takes the lead in sets 1, nominally because his losers' runs are longer. But
So,
really,
he has
the two are
longer
still pretty
runs, yeah.
close. To understand why Mango is
Yeah,
known
yeah.
as the losers' run god, we don't just have to change the strictness of our losers' runs, we need to open our dataset up to include moments like Pound 3. Now, here's the thing. PGStats data only goes back to late 2015.
Oh,
so
yeah.
using our dataset, we can't do that. Luckily, we have some help from the absolutely incredible Pikachu942, who provided
Historians,
us with a
dude.
full list
Smash
of major
historians.
tournament data. With Pikachu's help,
Unsung
we analyzed
heroes.
138 tournaments, every single major since the dawn of Melee. Huge thanks to Pikachu and the rest of the Melee Stats team for helping us make this video possible. Now, without further ado, let's look at that same definition for a loser's run, but with every tournament considered. We're going to look across the entire span of Melee's long, long history. Now it's becoming a bit clearer why Mango's the GOAT. 8 players have won a tournament when they lose in winner semis or earlier. In order of the first time they pulled that off, it's Ken, Captain Jack, PC Chris, Mango, PPMD, Armada, Hungrybox, and Mewtwo King. In total, it's happened 26 times. Mango is responsible for 9 of them. Hungrybox and Ken, 5 each, which means in total, 3 players make up 73% of all significant losers runs to win a major. Mango by himself is 34.6%. In total, Mango's losers runs add up to a mind-blowing 59 sets in losers. Hbox has 29, and Ken has 24. At this point, it's clear that Mango's got the most losers runs, but this data gets even more nutty. Let's look at the status of major wins again. Winners, losers, or grand finals reset, but this time with the massive dataset we're now working with. For this, a loss in winners finals still counts as winning from losers. What you should immediately see is that there are only a few players close to or above 50%. Let's deal with them first. Captain Jack's fully red bar is because he only ever won a single major, MLG San Francisco, and Isaiah only won 2. So his one losers run takes up half of his wins.
That's funny.
PC Chris and PPMD are a bit more legit. Of their 6 majors apiece, each still won 3 of them from a losers run. Guess there's something about the Falco players, and then we get to Mango. Sure, Mango might not be at 50%, but here's the thing. He didn't win 6 majors. He won 24. And his wins from losers? 11 of them, or 45.83%. Ready to have your mind blown even more? Mango has also won exactly 11 majors from winners. The remaining 2 are Grand Finals resets. So if you consider a Grand Finals reset to be neither a loser's run nor a winner's run, Mango has won as many majors with losers runs as he has from winners, which is absolutely bonkers. The next highest percentage is Ken, whose 5 wins out of 14 put him at 35.71%. For what it's worth, that weird blue line at the top is Get in School 2, which was a fully Swiss bracket, and while Ken lost to Chillin, he still won the tournament. Not really a loser's run. And after Ken, well, there's Hbox, sitting at a measly 21.88%. Not what we expected for the possible contender. So what gives? Why the huge disparity in Hungrybox data?
Wait, what happened?
Because we've made a mistake with this data set.
What?
You see, we've written out all the Hungrybox data as if it's one player, but that's not true. Now, you see, Hungrybox is actually 2 different players. The God who existed before EVO 2015, and the inevitable Titan who was just starting to come
Hbox and Clutchbox, dude. Holy shit.
into being at that tournament. Mango versus Hungrybox before and after.
Damn. It's
Before
true.
we talk about EVO 2015, we need to mention
post and pre-crunch.
2013. If Pound
crunch.
3 was the birth of Mango, EVO 2013 was the rebirth of Mango, Melee, and his losers run legacy, since he had to start top 8 outside of losers and win 7 sets on his way to his first EVO. Why do I mention this? Well, because it means that when Mango entered top 8 on the loser side at EVO 2015, you had to be out of your mind to write him off. He had just won the tournament from the same position 2 years prior, and after he made quick work of an unfortunate Ice Climbers in Chudat, echoes of 2013 were already in the air.
Yep. But I think maybe Chu gave him more. Oh, the up smash from the bottom of Stadium. KOs off the top.
I forgot Chu was
at
in
like
top
78%.
His next opponent was Hungrybox.
Oh,
who
no.
had previously
Yeah, this right here was a turning point.
Dismal 5-25 lifetime record.
Nothing was
against
ever the
Mango.
same.
Mango was Hbox's kryptonite. Everyone knew this. If you don't trust our stats, all you have to do is watch the disrespect Mango lays
It's kinda
down
crazy.
in Pound 4.
Mango. Mango. That's disrespectful to everyone. To Hungrybox, to me, to you. That was
I rage quit in grands, dude.
We can use all the fancy words we want, but in the most basic terms, these two had been beefing for about 6 years at this point, and Mango had always come out on top, including in grand finals of EVO the year prior. So Hbox was supposed to be just another name on a list, a walkover on Mango's way to the EVO 3-peat.
And he was destroying me game 2. And then I got that pound.
Again, that's a read. Yeah, Mango playing close to the ledge. Hungrybox looking for
Woo!
100%.
This is the percent we're back.
You know what happened?
Really threatening from
Who was this one?
Yo! Do you remember?
Ace play standing up. Mango SD'd.
Going Hungrybox.
Mango SD'd.
Again, just flying off the stage.
No tech.
And
Get
he gets
him
another
attack.
back air.
Hungrybox has this. He has Mango right where he wants him.
That
And
is
Mango goes for the classic.
First time I beat him in
Instead,
like
it was an Hbox 2-1.
2 years.
At the time, it felt like a fluke. Mango SD'd over and over, Hbox was ledge camping, it was best of 3. Honestly, all valid reasons to discount the set. Hungrybox didn't even end
Best
up
of
winning
3.
the tournament. But take it from me, this may just be one of the single most important sets in Melee history. And you don't need to watch the gameplay to understand why. You just need to watch the man who runs on stage after the match in a Hungrybox shirt, cheering and patting the Puff player on the back.
Of course.
Mango goes for the classic. Waveland off the ledge.
Yo, Mango actually recovered that way every single time he was on the ledge on that last
Hey, there he is.
You guys should know Crunch by now.
Ah,
but if you
good.
don't,
I'm
this is the
I'm
man
happy
who was
then.
partially
The Crunch
responsible
effect,
for
dude.
turning Hungrybox into
Completely
the best player
turned
in
it.
the world. While you might be familiar with how he helped Hbox revolutionize the Jigglypuff-Fox matchup, what you might not have heard about is how he helped Hungrybox revolutionize his mentality as well.
I'd say at first it wasn't a giant problem, but the closer he got to #1 is like when
to
kind of like the
interview him.
mentality issues started happening. It was one of those like the second he would get close to winning a tournament, he'd be like, "Oh, this is it. Am I finally about to win? Am I finally about to hit rank 1? Am I finally about to do this?" And a lot of like coaching is about silencing that voice. That kind of voice
Five
can actually
gods.
have a problem in like say like slower games like chess. But in a game like Melee, each one of those thoughts, every active voice is something that detracts from your current reaction time, your current gameplay. So like you really have to be completely like without any voice, just in the zone.
South by
So
Southwest.
here's the thing. Hbox literally never won a major from losers before he started working with Crunch.
It's true.
The first time he ever did,
Deep
Evo
end, I think.
2016. It was pretty unprecedented. I mean,
My
just
first
look at
one
how
was
worked
Evo.
up Hbox got about it.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a great stick, and that's 2016.
Right after he lost, he was like, "I suck, I can't win." Like all that work that we put in, all for nothing, whatever. And I think a lot of it is about like reframing from like this negative mindset, like this like beating yourself up mindset, to like a positive mindset. You can't make a sick losers run if you're not in losers.
Evo 2016 was a landmark event in what was already a storied career. Hbox was anointed with that
How did I
losers
turn
run
mental?
as the best
It
player
was,
in the world and as a completely different
It's
player.
a lot of
one
talking.
who could win from losers.
A lot of
Now,
understanding.
you may be
yourself.
wondering why we started this video with an intentionally limited data set, but there's a reason. Statistics are only as good as the context provided, and Melee's landscape changed forever once Crunch accelerated Hbox to the next level of Puff evolution. Sure, Mango might still have the higher from losers win rate, but as we saw earlier, Hbox handily beats him out in the sets won from losers, whether it's a 3-set or 5-set
Oh,
run.
so skinny.
We
I'm
called it
getting
the
there.
PGStats era, but our initial
This
data set
comeback, dude,
actually
I'll never forget it.
coincidentally lines up
The
very
SDI,
nicely
I
to really
start
be
laughing.
the
Drill,
Hbox era.
read roll, up throw,
He gets
left,
the read.
up air.
He gets Hbox! What? How is he so clutch? I don't know.
Sickest shit I've done.
How is he so
But we still haven't answered one of our initial questions. Why doesn't an Hbox losers run feel like a Mango losers run? Sure, we all recognize Low Tier City 7, but why doesn't, say, Pound 2019 stick in our minds as great a losers run as Big House 9? The two tournaments happened just
They're all
4
mo-
months
it's 'cause
apart.
everyone
Both
fucking hated
Hbox
it.
and Mango had to win 5 sets to win the tournament, and the quality of players each had to beat was about the same. One explanation is seeding. At Big House 9, Mango famously became the lowest seeded player to ever win a major since he was the 6th seed. Hbox, of course, was the first seed at Pound 2019, so his run doesn't seem as monumental. It seems like what should happen. In fact, Hungrybox was first seed at 4 of his 7 losers runs and second seed at the other 3, Evo 2016, GTX 2017, and the Big House 7. However, this argument sort of falls apart when you look at the rest of history. Mango was still an unknown quantity at Pound 3, sure, but he was the first seed at Evo 2013, first seed at Press Start, and second seed at Summit 11. So what gives? Well, let's push our dataset even further. Instead of looking at losers runs that start after winner semis, let's look at something even more strict. Losers runs where the player has to start outside of top 8, like Mango's Evo run. As expected, this data makes it even more clear that Mango is untouchable when it comes to losers runs. This feat has only been accomplished 8 times, and Mango is responsible for half of them. What's more, Pound 3 and Press Start are the 2 longest losers runs ever at 10 sets each. Pound 3, Evo 2013, Press Start, Smash Summit 11. These are canonical runs that make it clear Mango breaks the rules of competition. At the end of the day, the reason we think of Mango as the greatest losers player of all time is contained in those two words, all time. In the modern era, Hungrybox may hold a candle to Mango's flame. He's even got a run greater than 7 sets himself with Low Tier City.
Dude,
but Mango has
my Low
been
Tier
doing
City
this
run
since
was
his first major victory
crazy.
ever, and he's never stopped. And when it comes to the sheer magnitude of the losers runs, nobody does it like Mango.
Knocked him out. He's taking his shirt off. Searching the crowd.
Listen, we shifted the goalposts a lot in this video, but that's because for all of our stats, this isn't a video about statistical truths. It's about how we think of players, what legends and monikers we ascribe to them. In the end, it all comes down to narrative. After all, there are plenty of losers runs that don't end up winning the tournament. Westballs at Sandstorm, Hbox at Apex 2012, Chudat at OC2. But as the inimitable Prague pointed out back
That's
in
the worst
2015
feeling. It's
in
so
a
far
Melee
to lose.
Omni article on this same subject, no one remembers second place, right? There's another law of Melee. Whatever you're trying to say, Prague probably said it better before.
Prague,
So,
Pac-Man.
is Mango the
Prague
greatest
was the
losers
legend.
player of all time? Yes, indubitably. There's no question about it. How could we have ever doubted him? But there's some contenders who we don't always acknowledge. We've talked your ear off about Hungrybox already, which somehow seems to be a trend when it comes to videos about Mango. Oops. But imagine a world where Hungrybox really is a completely different player after Crunch. One who starts playing in 2015, and Evo 2016 is one of his first majors. He wouldn't just be Clutchbox. He's one of the greatest losers players of all time. If we're really thinking of Hbox as two different players, the post-2015 Hbox is almost as great a losers bracket player as Mango. In fact, Mango's early dominant period is actually
I remember like
really
every
similar to
pop-off like
Hbox
vividly.
from 2016 to 2019. Perennially the favorite, but prone to fall into losers and then make a sick run. Both players were inevitable. The difference between Hbox and Mango is the periods of
He
their
read that
careers
role!
outside of dominance.
Oh, no, that's Armada.
Hbox's came before. He was an eternal grinder, a member of the top 5, but least likely to win the absolute biggest tournaments or make a loser's run. Mango's came after. He's the buster, always down on his luck, but with the promise of his earlier days that no matter how down, he's never out. And then there's Ken, who honestly was just as great a losers player during his reign. With all these players combined, it becomes clear that the most impressive losers runs don't often come from an underdog who's truly down and out. They usually result from the best player in the world suffering an early loss and then proving just how dominant they are. Except for Big House 9, but hey, that's a video for another time.
Big House.
And Mango with all the state presence saying no job.
Mango's the best losers player of all time, but it's not because of the stats. It's because of the mark he made
Who's
on the
best
game
winners
as
player?
a type of player we'd never seen
Is that
before.
Armada?
And it's impossible for us to ever see again. Even if some freak of nature came out of the woodwork and won Summit 13 through 17 from losers, they wouldn't carry the legacy that Mango does.
Get set, last stock.
Gotta be Armada,
Oh,
right?
Goodness gracious.
What a moment
Armada's
this
sitting
is
in
for
winner's
CI
side
Mango.
grands like the scariest.
Here's one last hypothetical for you. Imagine a world where Mango still wins Pound 3, but he does it in a more conventional way. There's no DK or Link Dittos, no sets dropped to tournament
Wouldn't be the
organizers,
same.
and when he beats M2K twice, he does it from the winner's bracket. He'd still be worthy of that crown on his Jigglypuff, but would he be the loser's god we see today? Probably not. But I don't want to live in that world. I don't think any of us do. And thankfully,
Good old Melee. That was a really good documentary. Yeah, I mean, you can break down the stats of Melee in so
hey,
many
thanks
ways.
for watching.
That's
If you
what's
want
so
more
sick
content
about
like
it.
this,
So huge shout out to PGStats. That was pretty dope.